Yesterday, we reviewed what a body paragraph should contain. We used our checklist to improve our work, and we're going to continue that again today. But before we do, I wanted to return once again to the mentor text. All right, and remember what we talked about yesterday, the importance of being engaged in the lesson. And I know you're engaged in the lesson when your eyes are facing forward at the screen. Because when your eyes wander, your mind wanders, and you're thinking about something else. So now is not the time to be writing, but now is the time to be paying attention so that you can once again see and hear what a body paragraph should look like. Now remember from our checklist, we talked about how every paragraph needs to be indented. We talked about using our chart in our green packet when we're choosing a transitional phrase. Joshua, could I get you to sit up, please? Thank you. Making sure that we're choosing wisely when we're using our chart on transitional phrases. And guys, keep in mind that sometimes those transitional phrases can help you to elaborate. Each of your body paragraphs should provide at least 2, maybe 3 different pieces of text evidence. And you can present that in a variety of ways. First, you can quote, pulling the words directly from the text, putting them in quotation marks. Then you can also summarize. If it's a larger piece of text, you might just want to restate it in your own words, providing a summary. Or maybe you're going to do a combination of both, where you summarize some of it and pull out some key words. But whatever you choose to do, remember that you need to cite it. And that's why it's capitalized there. Cited text. Now, we've also had a conversation about how our book, it's difficult to cite because our book does not have page numbers, our book does not have chapters. So for this piece of text, when we go to cite the text, we're going to say it occurred in the beginning, it occurred in the middle, it occurred to the end. Or if you are familiar with a story mountain and the different elements of story, you might say during the rising action, or at the turning point, or during the conclusion or falling action. All right? So if you feel comfortable, where are you going? Okay, so do you think it's helping you become a better writer, getting up in the middle of my lesson and walking across the room to throw a piece of paper away? Okay, so please stay at your seat so that you can get everything you need to get from the mini lesson. Okay, once you present the evidence, though, you have to elaborate, which means you have to let your reader know why you chose that. How did you make the connection to how that piece of evidence supports your main idea? You can't just present the evidence and make your reader do all the work. You need to elaborate. And just like the other transitional phrases, we have specific elaboration prompts or phrases that you can use to push your thinking. So let's take a look at that really quickly. We already know, and I would say almost every single person in here is proficient at choosing a proper transitional phrase at the beginning of your body paragraphs. I can clearly see that in almost everybody's essay. But where we kind of start to stumble a little bit, where the challenge lies for us, is to use a transitional phrase to let your reader know when you're introducing evidence. And so we have a variety, and certainly there are much more than this right here that we can choose from, but here's a variety. Ian, I'm going to ask you to put your pencil down. Now is not the time to write your essay. Now is the time to pay attention. Remember, we learned we use our checklist to help our writing get better. We want our writing to get better every day. If we just keep on writing and we don't stop and review, then our writing is not going to get better. All right. After you introduce your evidence, though, when you're ready to elaborate, you're going to move down here and you're going to think about, what does this show? What does this piece of evidence show? What does it illustrate? What does it reveal? What does it tell the reader, Eli? So you're going to use these. And remember, we talked yesterday about how we want to use a variety, right? We don't want to use the same ones all the time because it sounds like a robot has written it. And we don't want our writing to sound robotic. So make sure that you're using these to indicate or to prompt you to think in ways that can elaborate on the work. Okay. Next on our checklist, we want to make sure that when we shift from one example to the next, that we also continue to use those transitional phrases. It's a signal to our reader. Another example, this person is writing, this person is going to give us another piece of text evidence. Okay, and then that very important last sentence, restating the main idea and the thesis. Be careful. This is a tricky skill to achieve, and a lot of you know you're supposed to put something there. A lot of you are putting two sentences there, or you're repeating the main idea. All right, so we need to practice that a little bit more. So let's look at our sample essay. We're just going to look at the body paragraphs. And again, I want you to kind of apply the strategy we learned earlier about reading our envisioning and reading ourselves into it. I want you to be able to listen to the way that this essay goes and try to make your essay go in the same way. Meaning that you notice that we have the main idea, we have the text evidence, we have the elaboration. Okay? We don't want to just keep writing the same way. We want to get it better. All right, so let's start with our first body paragraph. To begin, dog is a good friend because he is caring. For example, dog cares for Magpie when she is hurt during the fire. At the beginning of the book, he holds Magpie in his mouth, and his mouth is described as gentle. Dogs' mouths contain sharp teeth that are normally used to rip birds apart, but instead, dog uses his gentle mouth to carry Magpie to safety. This shows he is caring, not hurtful. Dog also cares for her emotions. When Magpie says, "I will never fly," dog tries to cheer her up by saying, "Life is still good." In addition, dog also cares for the character Fox by inviting him to stay with them. He offers food, shelter, and companionship. Dog is a good friend because he cares for others. Ian, that's the second time I'm asking you to put your pencil down. Next, dog is a good friend because he is loyal. Dog tries many times to help Magpie. For instance, when dog first saves Magpie, they both know she will never fly again. Dog tries to cheer her up, but Magpie rejects his kindness by saying, "An eye is nothing," and goes off to hide in the shadows of the cave. But dog does not give up on Magpie. When she wakes up from her long sleep, he is there waiting. Another example of loyalty can be found in the middle of the book. Dog runs with Magpie on his back every day through summer through winter. This reveals Dog's faithfulness because he runs with Magpie not just once, but every day for a year. Josh, please sit up. Dog is a good friend because he is loyal. Eli, where should your eyes be if you're listening? Finally, Dog is a good friend because he always sees the best in others. In the middle of the story, when Fox comes along and needs a place to stay, Dog is open and generous. For example, though Magpie doesn't trust Fox, Dog says, "Welcome. We can offer you food and shelter." Dog is not suspicious of Fox, but tries to see him in a positive light. Another example can be found when Magpie tries to tell Dog that Fox is no good. He belongs nowhere, she says. He loves no one. Dog continues to see the positive in Fox, saying, "He's all right. Let him be." This proves what a good friend Dog can be. Even though Dog is blind in one eye, he still sees, in quotes, the best in everybody. Dog is a good friend because he always sees others in a positive light. All right, so those are the body paragraphs, okay? Hopefully you're getting an idea of what a body paragraph should look like. Today, you're actually going to finish your essay. You're going to use your checklist to finish writing your body paragraphs, and then you are going to use your checklist to construct your conclusion. I feel pretty confident in your conclusions. The last essay that you did, the conclusions were very strong. So when you finish your essay and you double check with your checklist, if it needs to be stapled, come see me. I'll staple it for you, and then you can put it into the basket. We are going to work until 2 o'clock. All right, go ahead and begin working.